Well, I feel marginally better, marginally, because of the result tonight between Tottenham Hotspur and Leeds United. I've got a guest in the guest room there. I'm going to bring him on in a minute. Um, Look, we've got a lifeline, and VAR did its job. And who would have thought that Leeds United would be given a penalty? I thought maybe the referee would be like, say something like it's an error, not malicious or whatever. But Leeds United did the job today. They even hit the bar right at the last minute. I think it was a good save by their keeper, but they almost won it. But look, okay, 2 games to go, and 2 points in it now between us and Tottenham Hotspur. They haven't got clear daylight from us because they didn't win tonight. And I didn't think they would. I thought Leeds would get something from tonight, and they have done indeed. Very good evening to you all. Welcome to the West Ham Weekly. Well, it's not the West Ham Weekly because I didn't do it. There's no other full show, and I'm going to bring a guest on in a minute as well. But we're still in it. And at Newcastle, we tend to do not bad at times. We've had a couple of decent wins there in the last few years, whereas Tottenham Hotspur don't always do so well against Chelsea at their ground. I know Chelsea are playing absolutely shite at the moment, but who knows? Maybe they might finally turn up for the last couple of games of the season and do us a favour too. But why should they? Because we shouldn't be relying on other teams to do us a favour. It should be down to us. And we've got that lifeline. I'm going to bring Jack on, otherwise we'll probably end up waiting all night. Good evening, Jack. How are you, mate?
Hi, Stel. Hi, everyone. How you doing?
I'm well. Jack, we've known each other quite a while. Mate, I asked you about 3 minutes ago, would you like to come on? So thank you for doing so.
No problem at all.
Shall we start with the game tonight? I don't know if you managed to watch it at all.
Well, put it this way, I was more interested in the Millwall game. If we'll be playing them next year, but
how did that go? I don't know the result of
that. Well, fortunately, they lost 2-0.
Oh, what a shame. There you go.
Exactly. There is a God after all.
There is one. Well, the God might turn around and go, don't worry, the reason why they lost is because we'll be playing them next season. But who knows? Who knows?
Exactly. Obviously, you said to start about tonight's game, but I still think I've got to mention about Sunday's game. Absolutely disgusting. I know you're going to come on to that, but
I'm going to come on to it. Yeah. I didn't really want to. The reason why I was deliberating whether to do a show tonight was because I just can't get my head out of. I've been debating with people on Facebook for most of the day, and people are still telling me that we're wrong. West Ham fans are wrong, and it was the decision was clear. It shouldn't have been a goal, and yet it took them, what was it, Jack? 4 or 5 minutes on VAR plus another 3 minutes or whatever for the rest to go.
6 minutes in total minimum.
How long? Sorry,
6 minutes in total minimum.
6
I think
minutes in total.
Yeah.
And do you know what, Jack? The minute it came up on the screen at the stadium, everyone went, "That's not a pen." And I know we're biased. But you could just see straight away, that. And I know that the arm was over Raya's neck, but all the shirt pulling, and I mean, he was being fouled by 2 players, Trossard and their defender, whatever his name is. But he was being fouled, Pablo, so he couldn't move anywhere else but the position he was in. It weren't deliberate, was it?
No. In fact, I personally don't think it was a foul, but that's another matter. But I think what you've got to do is you've got to look at the second or two before that contact. There were at least 3 potential penalties, penalty incidents, fouls against our players before it even got anywhere near there. And I'm shocked that, apart from whatever happened, that they didn't even look beforehand at any potential penalties. As I say, there was at least 2 clear penalty incidents in that before the contact with the goalkeeper.
Apparently VAR looked at that, and apparently the excuse was it was only something like the ball being in a particular position, going to the keeper rather than what was going on around it. That's a load of bollocks.
Well, what happens if you punch someone in the mouth while that's going on? It's still
Exactly.
violent conduct and a penalty. So
are they going to ignore that? Exactly that. And
yeah.
people are saying, "Oh, forget the Declan Rice thing. He was pulling Mavropanos after that." No, he was pulling Mavropanos and Somerville well before the ball was kicked. And I know, Jack. I agree with you. And then Arsenal fans were saying about Souček pulling down Havertz. Well, not quite. That was a 50-50, more like Havertz. And again, we're seeing it from a West Ham point of view. There was that one. There were several, mate. And it's just disgusting what they did to us last night. And for anyone to suggest, I know it's harsh to say, well, not harsh, but people say you shouldn't be talking about, it's cheating, etc. But it felt that way, didn't it, Jack? It felt that way.
And your post-match thing, you was bereft. I mean, you just couldn't, like the rest of us, couldn't work out what had gone wrong. But the fundamental thing is, and I'm absolutely stunned, but I actually thought the whole purpose of VAR was where a clear and obvious error was made, not one where you should look at it from 15 different angles.
I'm losing your sound, mate. I can't hear you very well.
All I was saying is that I thought that VAR was for the purposes of a clear and obvious error, and you should be able to spot that in a few seconds.
Exactly.
And it seems, I mean, they say that the recordings come out. I've not heard it or whatever, but it seems
apparently
a direction of the fourth or the VAR person as opposed to the ref. We had almost an exactly similar situation when we played Chelsea a few years ago.
Yes, we did.
With that one, and that turned out to be wrong. But as I say, like everyone, I'm fucking stunned by it, really. But there you go.
Yeah. I mean, apparently, the decision from VAR was an opinion rather than fact-based. It was what's all that about? Since when did VAR? When was VAR allowed to have an opinion on something rather than offer? It's meant to be fact-based. That's what my understanding of VAR.
Yeah, it's very, 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 very simple. It's the top six bias. End of. There's no doubt about it whatsoever. And like Raya, you could just see him. He fumbled it, and he basically screamed at the referee, and they surrounded him.
That's not allowed either, but they did that and they got away with it. It left a real bitter taste. Look, Jack, let's be honest, mate. We're in this position because of West Ham. We know that. We've been in the bottom three for most of the season and so on. So we kind of we should have got ourselves out of this. But when decisions like that, and it hasn't just been this isolated decision, it's been decisions over several games throughout the season where you just feel not again. And I know Everton fans will point to, well, what about Fernandez's handball? Well, what about Pickford's assault on Tati Castellanos earlier in the game? Two-footed.
But the thing about the handball was that, and I can see the argument from their point of view, but within a couple of minutes, it made no difference because they'd equalised anyway.
Yeah.
So it didn't actually affect the game in that context, and we went on to win it. But as I say, I can see that point of view, and yes, I do genuinely think it was handball, and I think we got away with one. But at the end of the day, they scored a few minutes later, so I don't think it made a great deal of difference. Just coming back to this season, we were done against Brentford last week completely. And against Brighton when Mavropanos, nearly had his head taken off, and no one ever bothered looking at him. So it's I don't know what the answer is. Whether you should have someone completely independent looking at these, but as I say, that the people that do them, whether it goes in our favour or what, should be dealt with.
One of the suggestions for VAR is get ex-footballers in the VAR room. And if there's anything, they understand how the game is played. With the greatest of respect to the referees, they know it by the letter of the law. But it's very different being a player. And if you've got an ex-player, I know there will tend to be a bias there as well. You know, an ex-player of team X, Y, or Z. But then get those players. Get an ex. I don't know, Chelsea player. When West Ham are playing Tottenham or something like that. So there isn't that bias. Do you know what I mean? And maybe, just maybe, VAR might just be a little bit better. But also VAR abroad. If you look at VAR abroad, you never hear of these controversies. You never hear that VAR has taken half an hour to be sorted out. They're done pretty quickly. Where it just seems to be the Premier League, unless I'm mistaken, and someone can correct me in the chat if I am, but it just seems to be Premier League that seems to take forever to make a decision. But
yeah, and as I say, it's not just a decision; it's a micromanagement of the scenario. It's not like, did this happen in real time? It's a question, slow down, and what all they do is also give the referee just the still frame. So as I say, 99 times out of 100, that once you go over to the screen, the decision is going to be whatever against your team. It's there or thereabouts, but here you go.
So
disappointing.
It is, but we're still in it, Jack. 2 games left. How do you see it panning out?
Well, I've had about 4 messages from Chelsea fans, and I won't repeat what they've said, but they definitely want to beat Tottenham regardless.
Oh, I bet they
do. They're not going to have their tummies tickled, and they just want to go out and do them. But I think we've got a relatively good record at Newcastle, and I'd be quietly confident that we can do a job there. And even if we do, bearing in mind what Leeds have done in recent times, I don't think they'll roll over and have their tummies tickled against us.
I don't think they will either, Jack. I don't think they will. I think looking at it now, I think it's even Stevens with regards to the next game. Tottenham, Spurs, Chelsea, Spurs, ourselves, and Newcastle, and I think we'll be level again, quite possibly after that game, or we might be. No, actually, I'm going to tell a lie. I think we're going to win against Newcastle, and I don't think Tottenham will beat. I think Chelsea will beat Spurs, so we'll be a point ahead in the last game of the season.
Yeah, we can't have Tottenham drawing because of the goal difference. But
we can't.
As I say, but it's in our hands. We've got to win both games and just hope for the best, really.
Absolutely.
As I say, absolutely. Everton aren't any mugs either.
No, they're not, are they? They're going for Europe.
Yep.
Well, under some manager called David Moyes. I don't know if you've heard of him at all.
Never, not once. As I say, even look, if it don't go too well for us, we've got 3 European games in Wales next year. So yeah.
Jack, much appreciated, mate. Thanks for coming on right at the last minute. Really appreciate it.
Thanks very much, Stel, and keep up the sterling work. And
cheers, mate. Are you going to be at Newcastle on Sunday?
I am, yes.
Well, we'll meet you. And are you staying over, or are you coming back home?
I'm coming back home.
Oh, Jack.
Some of us have got to work, mate.
Yeah, well, take the day off, like I've forgotten to do.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? Too many days off. Anyway, look, take care. All right. And enjoy the rest of the show. And
cheers, Jack.
Listening. Take care. Bye-bye.
All right, mate. That's much appreciated. Right, so let's get back to it. We've got a lifeline. We've got a lifeline. We don't do too badly against Newcastle. It ain't going to be easy for Tottenham Hotspur to play Chelsea. I think that'll be. And I know Chelsea haven't been playing well of late, but it could be interesting. By the end of next weekend, people, or by the end of the next round of games, week 37. We might be 1 point ahead of Tottenham Hotspur with the final game coming up. Imagine that. We're not out of it. Let's see what you got to say in the chat. I am going to talk a bit more about the VAR thing. Actually, let me do that before I go into your comments, because as I was saying to Jack earlier on, of course we're going to see it from a West Ham perspective. Of course we are. But you've only got to look at how much wrestling and rugby tackling was going on in that penalty box at the game on Sunday, to wonder what on earth VAR was looking at for that 4.5 minutes and then the other 2-3 minutes that the referee was looking at the screen as well. How come? And this is where VAR becomes quite disturbing and quite depressing, because it's meant to be giving you an all-rounded view. And we've seen the screenshots, haven't we? We've seen what the referees see on VAR. They see certain snapshots rather than the bigger picture. That's not the way it should be working. If you're in a penalty box, you should be looking at everything. And at one point I thought, well, maybe they're looking at every incident, which is why it's taking so long for them to make a decision. And then we realized they were looking at the same incident for quite a bit of time. Apparently they looked at the Mavropanos Declan Rice challenge, and they went, no, it wasn't part of the game. Wasn't part of that phase of the game. What's all that about? And then Arsenal fans were saying, well, Souček took down Havertz. If you look at that, that's a 50-50. Then you've got to look at Pablo, who was accused of fouling the goalie, and he had his shirt being pulled by Saliba. He had his shirt literally being pulled by Saliba, and he had Trossard trying to pull him down as well. Right, Todibo, if there's anyone that made a foul, it was Todibo, but the VAR didn't give a free kick against Todibo. It was against Pablo. And that's what's so disturbing about it. It's meant to be ironing out all the sort of like 50-50s, and it isn't doing it. So something has got to change before the start of next season. VAR, something has got to change. Now, I watched Match of the Day, the highlights, and they had a guest referee on, an ex-referee, and he was saying something like no attacking player should be allowed in the 6-yard box when a corner kick is being taken or whatever it was. And I'm thinking, how does that work out? That's not what happens in the 18-yard box, or fine in the 6-yard box, but what about the rest of the penalty box? And I couldn't understand the logic of that. Basically, to cut all this out is you start penalizing players who are pulling other players down. The minute someone is grabbing hold of a player by the stomach, etc., call it a penalty. Simple as that. Simple as that. Because that isn't football, is it? That's just grab. That's just pulling. And we've seen it happen so many times. And of course, the big deal is Arsenal have had, I think they're the highest scorers of corner kicks. Is it something like 23 or 26 or something? I bet you £1 to it. And we've seen this. We've seen the snapshots, the one against Sevilla when they had an elbow in the keeper's face and all that sort of stuff. I bet you most of those goals they've got had someone pulling at someone else in order to get advantage. None of those were disallowed, and yet the one against West Ham United was. Conspiracy, I don't want to be that conspiracy theorist, but you can't help feeling when things don't go for you, time and time again. If it's a one-off, if you see it happen a couple of times, you go, oh, fair enough, VAR. But it's happening on a regular basis. And let's be fair, it ain't happening to the bigger teams. It's happening to the likes of West Ham, happening to the other teams like that. Don't get me wrong. I'm not making the excuse if we get relegated, it's all because of VAR. But it's been a contributor. It's been a contributor. Right. Tottenham Hotspur didn't beat Leeds United tonight. 1-1 draw. And VAR did its job there. Player got a kick in the face. Their captain, can't remember his name, Leeds United. And they gave it. They took their time, but they gave it. And there was a penalty shout, right? I thought, here we go. Right at the end. Tottenham Hotspur had a penalty shout, but VAR did its job again. The defender got his foot to the ball. And you look at it and you go, fair play. It was, exactly how it was. I don't know. What about ours, eh? Let's go into your chat. Let's see. Good evening to you, Chris. I hope you're well. Marching on together, we absolutely are. Hammerette, good evening to you. All this believing, then convinced we're going down malarkey is so stressful. It is the most stressful. I think on Sunday, half of us were saying, I think we're going to have one of us going to have a cardiac arrest before the end of the day, and that's what it felt like. And then, of course, the anger took over. It is absolute torture. Absolute torture. I hope you're well, Hammerette. Martin, good evening to you. That was a great effort by Longstaff. What could have been? I know. Fantastic efforts. Sean, good evening to you. How are you? Feeling physically sick. This is torture. I think there's a theme going on here, isn't there? Foxes, how are you, mate? Chelsea and Everton, or Newcastle and Leeds? None of those games are easy. None of those games are easy. You know, we could go into against Chelsea for Tottenham and against Newcastle for us. Both teams might go into with the same number of points difference, or we could go into it with a point behind Tottenham Hotspur, or we could beat Newcastle, Tottenham Hotspur lose against Chelsea, and we might be a point ahead going into the final game. I've got a smile on my face because I think this might spur us on. No pun intended, saying spur us on, but I think we can do it. Foxes agree we can do that. Darren, good evening to you. We're still in it. Absolutely, we are. Foxes, Spurs, a no-no. Spurs and Nuno, they went 1-0 up and parked the bus. Spurs did a Nuno 1-0 and they parked the bus. Good evening, Toha. I hope you're well, mate. Darren, win our 2 games, which is doable, and Spurs will bottle it. Wouldn't we like to see David Moyes do us a favour in the final game of the season by beating Tottenham Hotspur at their ground? They get Europe, we stay up. Vinay, I don't think Spurs are going to win both games. They will lose one. That's what I'm thinking. Let's not mention VAR. A bit late for that. Toha, where did nearly 20 add? 13 minutes. Well, you know what? Great. 13 minutes added on because Leeds United almost got the winner. Robin, good evening to you. I hope you're well. Good evening to you, Jace. My mate is a Leeds fan. They're all saying what they saying. TH. How are you, Jace? Frog, good evening to you. Evening, lovely Hamlet. Just got in. Result. Come on, you irons. Sai, all the way from Florida. It will go to the wire. I hope you're having a good time in Florida, mate. Sai again. They stopped Spurs winning the league in 2016. Anthony, I can see us winning our next 2 games and Spurs losing their next 2. We stay up, they go down. I'm very well. Look, I've got a smile in my face by reading that because it's in our hands, people. It's in our hands. I think Tottenham Hotspur might just slip up yet again. John, we need to beat Newcastle. If Chelsea beat Spurs, Everton at home is a tough task, a tougher task than Leeds at home. I think they're both tough, but I agree with you. Maybe, just maybe, I'm going to Newcastle with my mates on Sunday. We're staying over, and I think we might be celebrating. Am I being a bit too cocky? Tell me if I am. Glenn, good evening to you. 16 minutes of added time. We're from Frog in up talk. Everyone's saying hello to each other. Hammerette. I'm still fuming with it. I am. I've been upset all day. I was upset all evening. I was upset all day. Arse are cheating dirtbags and they get away with it every time. They are. The dark arts. That's why Arteta's known for the dark arts. Sai, how would they feel being told you've cheated your way? I mean, remember we always talk about Liverpool being Liverpool. Now it's Varsenal, VAR Arsenal. How would they feel? Being pointed at going, the only reason why you won is because you cheated your way to winning the league. I wouldn't like that. Sai, 4 minutes 30 for plus another 2 for the ref. Just enough time for the bets from Far East to be looked at. Darren, I think the whole country except the Spuds want us to stay up and for them to go down. It may come true. 8 Barley, good evening to you. They're right still. It shouldn't have been a goal. It should have been a pen to us. Yeah. If they weren't a goal, then give us a penalty. Joe, if only Aston Villa showed the same fight and energy against Spurs like Leeds did tonight, absolutely. But we can't expect other teams to do us a favour. Mr. Wigram, Wiggy himself. I did ask him if he wanted to come on. He probably has said no. Hang on, let me see if he replied. Let's get there. I'm in bed. I go to bed at 10, so Leeds have still given us faint glimmer of hope. There you go. That's Wiggy's answer. I'm in bed, but he's writing that while he's in. Doesn't bear thinking about. Good night to you, John. Thank you for coming on, mate. The AMG, good evening to you. It's been an accumulation of things to put us where we are. It started for me continuing to play a poor Paqueta. Started with, listen, let's not deny, let's face facts. we've got ourselves, we're in this position because of the way we've played, because of our results, etc. throughout the whole season. We are where we're at because of that. But as I've said, I'm not blaming VAR, but VAR has been a contributor. Dark Star. We still have a chance after tonight's game. Absolutely. Nigel, I looked at VAR video again, and corner as the corner was taken. Some cheating Arsenal player had both arms wrapped around Todibo, and people saying that the Declan Rice challenge on Mavropanos was done after. It weren't. It started well before the ball came across. Maltstar, good evening to you. They were just looking at any and every reason to disallow it. It's like Declan Rice said. I'm proud of what Declan Rice said. He spoke as a captain after the game. He said, if you look long enough to find a reason to, chalk off the goal, you'll find it. And he was right. They looked long enough to find the reason. Hammerette, the decision won't be what relegates us. If we get relegated, we've been dire all season. Absolutely, I agree. Steve, cheated again. Absolutely, Dark Star. But we have to go to Newcastle and win. We can't rely on Chelsea. Absolutely not, Dark Star. And we've got a reasonably decent recent record there. Leeds. How are you guys? Leeds down in South Africa. That's our glimpse for you. Go for it. Thank you. That's all we can say. Thank you. And you played well. I mean, I'm more worried about playing you guys on the last game of the season than anything else now. I'm actually more worried about playing Leeds at home rather than Newcastle, ironically. Montana, good evening to you. Now Nuno needs to allow the team to attack. I think, look, it was always going to be a three at the back on Sunday. I knew it. I think most of us knew it. And I didn't mind it. And I should tell you why I didn't mind it, because Nuno allowed the wing-backs to go forward. Had they sat back, no good. But the fact that he actually gave them, sort of allowance to go forward, get down the bylines, etc., I thought that worked quite well. We could have seen maybe Manic go a little bit further forward, but he's much further forward than he has been when he's playing at left back. So in that respect, it was the right kind of tactics to go for. And I know also people are going to talk about, or have said, why Pablo first over Wilson. And I understand that argument, but I also understood because the minute Pablo came on, we know he's not going to score for a goal. Who knows? He might score the winner against Newcastle. He might score the winner against Leeds in the last game. But the minute Pablo came on, we went route one. None of this pissing around at the back. The goalie passes it to the defender, back to the goalie, back to the right back, all that bollocks. The minute Pablo came on, it was going straight up, and it was causing, ironically, it caused them more problems when Pablo was on because we were more further forward, more direct. So I got the reasoning for that. And I got the reasoning for the three at the back as well. The AMG, with all these American owners involved in the Premier League, it's about managing risk to their investment. Of course it is. And if any more American owners take over, they can start dictating how the Premier League is run in terms of the games, etc. Don't want that, do you? Mercedes, was Brady there yesterday wearing her red and white colours? She still needs to be held into account, I guess you were going to say. Cool, she weren't nowhere to be seen. Glenn, Nuno has no choice but to attack, but he will still go with three at the back with wing back. I don't mind that. The way we set up, it was all right. It was like a 3-4-2-1 system, and I quite liked it. I didn't mind it. It was solid, but we need to get players firing, don't we? Richard, fair play to Leeds. They did their part. Dark Star. If Spurs draw one and win the other, and we win both our games, we still go down on goal difference. 2 games. Yeah, you're right. You're right there. John, good evening to you. It was more like WrestleMania in the box. Rice had Mavro in a bear hug. Exactly. And nothing was said about that. Darren, the table doesn't lie. We've been woeful at times this season, but the same applies to the Spurs. Absolutely. They don't, they're down there for a reason. They've been just as shit as we are. Third man, good evening to you. Believe people, we're in the last chance saloon and there's a stay behind, a lockdown. Daniela, good evening to you. Didn't watch the game. I was playing cricket, but so the end football needs to look at rugby on how VAR should work. It should be the first foul in the phase play. And the first foul was not on Raya. The AMG wouldn't want Keown looking at it. Well, no, wouldn't. It's got to be someone unbiased. Frog, end of the day, Arsenal barely beat a relegated side, been shit housing all season. Sigh. It's because Premier League and PGMOL are taking bribes from the Far East. John, I'm convinced they want Arsenal winning the league so they can punish City for their crimes. A points deduction which keeps them in the Champions League, so they are seen to be doing something. It's a conspiracy theory, but it's got legs, hasn't it? You know, why is it taking so long for Man City to be penalised when other teams who have broken all these rules were fined, points deducted, etc. straight away? Why is it taking so long for Man City? Billy Bull, come on, you irons. You have a lifeline. Make it count. Unlucky boys on Sunday. Thank you, mate. And I've just dissed your team. Sorry about that, Billy. Nigel, if you look at video replays, the first actual foul was on Todibo long before Raya was even touched. Steve, maybe we need foreign referees. Is Kavanagh an Arsenal fan? No idea. But foreign referees seem to be doing an awful lot better than the English referees when it comes to VAR. Motters, good evening to you. Got to be balls out from the first whistle on Sunday. You mean? Chelsea have been awful, but that's a spicy game. And if they have to be motivated to send Spurs down, surely we're all motivated, aren't we? Sketch, good evening to you. Thank you very much. Ollie, Leeds fan here. Come in peace. Did you see how much stoppage time they gave Spurs tonight? 16 minutes. I know, but you almost won it. And boy, oh boy, I almost cheered when Longstaff shot that shot hit the bar. But yeah, you're right. 13 minutes plus another 3 minutes on top for good luck. Mercedes. Keown was such a prat on talk shy today. He really shows himself up and made to look stupid. When you're biased, people can call me biased. I'm a West Ham fan. Of course, I'm going to be thinking there have been times when I've said about West Ham where we didn't deserve anything, or a VAR decision went the right way against us, but not on Sunday. Mr. Anthrope, good evening to you. Glad we got a result for your survival chances. If our fullbacks were fit, we'd have smashed them. Come on, you irons. Thank you, mate. Much appreciated. And you, like I said earlier on, I'm more worried about playing you guys on the last game of the season. Richie, get in, Leeds. Do us a favour, Richie. Get that manager of yours to batter Tottenham Hotspur in the last game of the season. Motters. Thought they played on till Spurs scored. Insane amount of time. Unbelievable, really. Who else have we got here? Let's scroll down. Daniela. Well done, mate. I've never thought you would not turn up tonight like a lot of fans were hoping you'd be sitting on the beach. No. Leeds United owe them one, don't they? Tottenham Hotspur, and almost got their reward. Steve. Leeds fan, I only wish you could have beaten the Spuds, but it certainly gives you boys a chance. Good luck. Thank you. Really appreciating the loving. Really appreciated. Do us a favour on the last game of the season. Can you play your under 16s just in case? I don't know how good your under 16s are. Do us that one favour. Dark Stars. Spurs play Chelsea 3 days after they play the FA Cup final. I didn't want you to tell me that. Thank you for reminding me. Ceci Nespasun Pipe. I really try to avoid conspiracy theories with football, but this is the fourth match on the bounce that makes it hard to argue the league isn't trying to keep Spurs up. One of the big six, or as I call them, one of the greedy six. Alan, big six bias, corruption, absolutely. Joe, he wasn't an ex-referee still. Was he an ex-linesman? I thought he was a bloody ex-ref. That's even worse. What'd they get him on for? Is that the only person they can find at that time of night? Fucking ex-linesman. Richie, Everton go to Spurs last game. We go there to win. Nothing else will do. Go for it, lads. Go for it. Tell David when you see him, if he still loves West Ham, he knows what to do in that last game. The AMG. VAR in the first World Cup gave England loads of penalties. Rightly so or wrongly so? I don't know. I can't remember. Andrew. No longer dirty Leeds. Arsenal have taken that. Absolutely, they have. Absolutely, they have. Hey. Look, since yesterday until today, I've been explaining to everyone my point of view. Should Raya slipped the ball and Wilson shot it in, then we can look at it if that goalie was fouled. Yeah. I agree there, mate. Keith, Galispera to you, mate. Glad to catch a live one. Well, I wasn't going to do one until the last, did it 10 minutes before I went live. VAR was ruined All of our footballers. I mean, if there's one if it's any consolation, if we do go down, we'll have a season of no VAR. And that's got to be a consolation, hasn't it? Bino. I could not watch the game, kept thinking the ref was going to give Spurs. I watched it, and I was kind of like a bit nonchalant about it. I just felt that Leeds were going to do it. Hey, however, the ball falls from Raya. Saliba tries to clear it, and should that be cleared, then West Ham should shout for a penalty. Raya being found won't be mentioned. That's a good point. I'm going to go back to your first bit there, and I'm going to combine them. Look, since yesterday until today, I've been explaining to everyone my point of view. Should Raya have slipped the ball and Wilson shot it in, then we can look at it at that if the goalie was fouled. Fair play. And then, however, the ball falls from Raya to Saliba, tries to clear it. Should that be cleared, then West Ham would shout for a penalty and Raya being fouled. I think I've got your point. David, any updates on VAR coming to the Championship? Fuck off. Sorry, David. Didn't mean that. Let's suck the joy out of that league too, is the thinking. Fox's Leeds won't roll over for us, but I wish they will. I wish they will. Andrew. Nuno has been given another chance. Don't mess it up. Dark Star. Pablo was pushed into Raya by Trossard. Yeah. Whilst he was jumping, which caused Pablo's... It's exactly what I said. It's exactly what I said. Frog, take nothing for granted. Leeds lads, good evening to you. I think you can do this. Wish we beat Spurs, but we gave it a good... Mate, you played well. You almost won it at the end there as well. Daniela, our luck has to change soon. We've had some bad luck. That is really good point. Our luck has to change soon. It really does. Vinay, Aston Villa and Dick Emery didn't try against Spurs. They made Spurs look better than they are. Very good point. Mr. Anthrop, we'll have lots of injuries by the time we come to the London Stadium. Looking barren now. I don't want to wish it on you, but like I said, just bring your under-16s along. Don't bring a big rising star in the under-16s. I would have said the under-21s, but I think you're not a bad under-21s team. So bring the under-16s. Make sure they're the players that are only just breaking through. So, are they allowed to play at 6? Of course they are. Yeah, allowed to play in the Premier League at 16. Montana. Well, Nuno stopped holding back. He had to do what he had to do on Sunday. I absolutely think it was the right approach to take. But let's see what happens from here on in. Rehone, good evening to you. If Spurs lose and draw, we only need to win and draw. If Spurs lose and draw, yes, we only have to win and draw. Robert, God, gives you a headache trying to think of all the scenarios. Leeds has burst the Spurs bubble. Absolutely. Let's scroll down. Let's get some more people in. Thank you all for Leeds United fans coming on tonight. Really appreciated. With the foul, Rice should have been punished for that foul that was happening behind them. Absolutely. Toha. Well, Stel, if we cheated our way to winning the league, I might do a Keegan and go on about it. Loving it. Well, never happen though, will it? Maybe if we go down, we'll cheat our way to winning the championship. I'll take that. Yeah. All right. I'll take all that back. Yeah, I would. Martin, I can't see Spurs beating Chelsea. True Chelsea are muck, but Pedro just keeps on scoring. He could easily score twice against them. Apache, good evening to you. Wouldn't just be poetic justice if Tottenham and Arsenal bottled it now. Should lay a little bet on that. Arsenal not to win the league, Tottenham Hotspur to go down. I wonder what odds you get for that. Vinay, respect to Leeds, not quitters like Aston Villa. Absolutely. The AMG, would Premier League prefer Arsenal to win the league as be easier than dealing with a City case? Quite possibly. David, Wiggy in bed has got me. Don't, Andrew. Had the misfortune of listening to Martin Keown and Jim White on TalkSport this morning. Complete pair of wankers. I don't disagree with that at all. Toha, I'd like to mention Fark's class tonight as he shook hands with Maddison before he came on after missing the season. Yeah, he did. Saw that. Mr. Anthrop, they're insufferable. It's a terrible platform. Is talk shy? It absolutely is. Maltstar, any news on getting that rat at the top out? No, mate. He ain't going anywhere. Trust me. WHU, Madston, good evening to you. Good evening, mate. Thank you for joining. Mark, Newcastle lost 7 at home this season. Let's hope it's 8 by the end of next season. Massive. Good evening to you. I've just tuned in, seen the results. Why did Spurs have 15 minutes injury time? Was this the league trying to get them a goal? quite possibly. But the irony is that Leeds almost scored a winner in that time. Ms. Caswhite, good evening to you. Leeds fan here. Surely Nuno will take the shackles off on Sunday. I hope so. Like I said, I understood why he did what he did against Arsenal. Hope it's a completely different game next Sunday. Fraser, good evening to you. I'm a Leeds fan. Would love West Ham to stay up and Spurs to go down. Mate, we're all wishing the same thing. We're all wishing the same thing. Toha. More Leeds fans in the chat tonight than Hammers. All very well. You are all very welcome, without a doubt. Dark Star, where dirty Leeds, we'll save that for next season. Right now, you're very good, clean Leeds because you did really well tonight. Almost even Longstaff. He could have got the winner. He could have got the winner. Dark Star. Will the Newcastle fans want Newcastle to win their last home game of the season, or will they prefer to? I think the whole of the Premier League, apart from Spurs, want Spurs to go down. Mark Wilson started against his old club. Makes sense. Good shout. Very good shout. Michael, 45 minutes injury, Fergie time, and still. Mount Star, why wasn't Wilson on the keeper like all good forwards? But what a strike to be disallowed. Maybe his experience told him that anything that comes out, I'll be on the edge of the box too, and he was on the edge of the box to smash it home until he was told it was disallowed. Tom, come on, West Ham, stay up from a Forest fan. Thank you, mate. Appreciated. Neil, I'm a Leeds fan. I think you're right. I think we've got more Leeds fans in tonight than we've got West Ham fans, but you're all welcome. I'm a Leeds fan. I really hope West Ham go for it now. Good luck. Thank you, mate. Much really appreciated. Andrew, I would prefer to see Kante over Pablo. I don't think Kante will start. You might see him come on. It's going to be a very interesting line. I don't think he'll go with 5 at the back or a 3 at the back, on Sunday. I think he'll revert back to a 4. Then, which of the 3 central defenders plays? Which 2 of the 3? Because Todibo came back in like he never left. And Disasi was subbed, tactical switch later on. If we goes 4 at the back, which of the 2 is he going to play? Come on, you irons from a Forest fan. Thank you, Luke. Appreciated. Mr. Anthrop, the extra 15 minutes in tonight's game was really odd, as if they wanted Spurs to get a winner. I didn't see anything to tell me why there was an extra 15 minutes. I agree. Michael, goodbye, Spuds. 45 minutes injury time, Fergie, and they couldn't beat Leeds. Good evening, Epic. How are you? Good evening to you, Arthur. Longstaff unlucky with it. Apparently it was a save, but it was very unlucky. Oh, God, if that had gone in. Nigel, with the Arsenal Royal Rumble going on in the box, where was Traore when you needed him? Injured. He's injured, unfortunately. Don't know if he's going to be back before the end of the season. There you go. Darren, how long will we have to wait to see a ref go to the screen and stick by his on-field decision? Oh, mate. Tom, respect to Leeds. That's how you play with Premier League integrity on the line. Take note, Villa. Absolutely agree with that. Who else have we got here? Apache. A win against Newcastle on Sunday and Spurs will be in the bottom 3 before they play Chelsea away on Tuesday. Arthur, we all do, mate. We all do. Mark, Chelsea's first team is under 16s. Sai, ex-players from Europe with no allegiance in VAR. There you go. There's your solution for VAR when I suggested they should have ex-footballers being in the VAR box. Arthur, got to go to work tomorrow. Good luck against Newcastle. Thank you, Arthur. Much appreciated, mate. And thank you for your comments. MJ, by the way, Leeds fans, fancy becoming a subscriber of the West Ham Voice? Hang on a minute. You can subscribe to the channel. There's the QR code. Just click on that QR code and you can become a subscriber of the channel. You're more than welcome. MJ, even still leaving the ground yesterday, I was gutted. Now I'm confident again. I think my mates were looking for me. They went to the pub and they went, "Where are you?" And I was still standing there, just looking at the floor, thinking, "Oh dear." But I feel chirpy now. Mark, Nuno played at Porto with Pablo's dad, Pina. Nuno played at Porto with Pablo's dad, Pina. Do you think it was a little bit of a backhander? Bring my son along. Do you? I don't know. Kelly, good evening to you. 15 minutes extra time at the end. Pretty crazy. David, whose idea to play the FA Cup final before the end of the Premier League? It was always a centerpiece, wasn't it? The end of the season, and then you play the FA Cup final. That's how it always was. Why? Yeah, I agree. I agree. Yet again, changes have ruined it. Andrew, massive respect to Leeds for tonight's effort. Fair play. Michael, depressed all day today, but boy, did that Leeds result cheer me up. Shame the long staff effort didn't go in. A lot of luck on behalf of the Spuds keeper. It's going to the wire. It absolutely is. David, I noticed there were more flags flying yesterday of surrender. User, Dominic Calvert-Lewin might just have saved football, mate. Yeah. Do you know what? I've got to be honest. When Calvert-Lewin was available and there was a suggestion he might come to West Ham, I was dead against it. I was like, he's going to be injured all season and we're not going to see the best of him. And then we signed Wilson, of course. But Wilson has stayed fit. Calvert-Lewin, he scored 13 goals in the Premier League this season. Well done, mate. Because I didn't think he had it in him anymore, to be honest with you. Steve, what was you thinking about the penalty at the end and VAR? Spurs think it wasn't given because of your VAR. Oh, bollocks. The player got the ball. Honestly, the player got the ball. Sorry, I wasn't swearing at you, Steve. Joan, good evening to you. Bring your flip-flops, Leeds, and leave it to Moyes to save us. Kelly, if it was a playoff between West Ham and Spuds, we would hammer them, pun intended. User, if we win the league, we should rebuild the bowling, then move back in. Bit late for that, I'm afraid. Neil, heard a Spurs fan on TalkSport saying there is an agenda for... fuck. The massive irony. Heard a Spurs fans on TalkSport saying there's an agenda for Spurs to go down. Oh, my word. Andrew, Burnley and Palace up next for Arsenal. Can't see them slipping up, unfortunately. Wouldn't you love Burnley to do what we almost did? Wouldn't you love? And Palace, I don't know, well, let them think that they've won it already. That's what they looked. It looked as if they thought they'd won it already after the game on Sunday. The way they were celebrating as if they'd already won the league. They're not giving any any credit to Burnley or Palace. The result could come about. You don't think it will, but imagine if they slipped up against one of those two teams and Man City slipped in there. I love that. Ryan, did you hear about the woman with no legs who won the national strawberry picking competition? Fraser, West Ham are a proper old school club like Leeds, so I have massive respect for them, unlike soulless Spurs. Thank you, Fraser. Really appreciated, mate. Richard, do you know one of the first games I remember? Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was the 1970 or the 1971 FA Cup final. How old was I? 9 or 10 years old, something like that. And Mick Jones, Chelsea Leeds, was it? Was that the one where he had his arm all bandaged up, because he hurt it or something? I remember that. Diving header, Alan Clark. Am I putting several games together and coming with that conclusion, or am I right? Jones crossing it, Alan Clark diving header, Chelsea Leeds. Tell me if I'm right, Leeds fans. I've probably got that completely wrong. Mark, I actually dislike Arsenal more. I don't know who I dislike more, to be honest with you. Andrew, Todibo was excellent on Sunday, by the way. He played fantastically well. Richard, I'm hoping beating us on the last day will keep you up. Thank you. What other fans would say that? Beat us so you can stay up. Another Leeds fan here, Johnny. Good luck to Hammers. Thank you, mate. Really appreciated. Was it a good save? Yeah, okay. Jack, seeing as so many Leeds fans on here tonight, maybe they're saying Leeds will always take more is probably true. Mark, Trossard's foul on Pablo, holding one arm down, caused Pablo to use his other arm to try and get leverage to get the ball, and that was before the riot infringement. Also not clear. Absolutely, that's what I've been saying. But apparently the Arsenal fans won't have it. Andrew, Arsenal fans are the new Spurs fans, the worst, absolutely. Good evening to you, Veronica. Hope you stay up from a Sunderland fan. Thank you. Love the loving. God, we've become every fan's number two club. What was it? What was the saying? Every fan's second club. We've become again because of what's happened. Fraser, I'm loving the West Ham Leeds United. Loving it's awesome. I'm gutted we have to play you on the last day, and knowing Farke, you'll have to pull out all the stops. But I agree. That's the game I'm more worried about. Pablo's dad's name is Pina. I know. I don't know why I'm pausing. But anyway, MJ, if West Ham survive, you and Wiggy need to go to the strip bar mentioned a few months back. Sod that. I'm going to no strip bar club with David Wigram because he'll think he's part of the act. Mark, no, that was a strip club in Liverpool. I didn't go to it. I went to bed. Wiggy and all the others went, I'm a good man. I don't go to those sorts of places. Mark, not a clear and obvious mistake by the ref, so VAR should not have got involved to say a foul on Raya when Pablo is being fouled first. There you go. Pina colada. Sean, good evening, mate. Congrats to Leeds on survival. Millwall, don't laugh too quickly. Mark, Leeds fan here. Get it sorted against the Toon. I think we can get a result against them. I really do. Who else we got? Dub. Good evening to you. Good luck, West Ham from Dublin Leeds fan. Thank you, mate. Joe, if West Ham go down or support Leeds in the Premier League, today's effort from them was awesome. Fantastic. They played really well. Look, Daniel Farke. I mean, I'll give you. It is Farke, isn't it? It's not Farke. It's Farke. Daniel Farke. I mean, he realised what Leeds were not doing right, and he put two up front. That's how you play now, isn't it? And it's done you guys wonders. It's really and fair play to you guys. You deserve to stay in the Premier League for the way you've been playing. Joan, Veronica, love the Mackens, great season. Mark, City also got Palace on Wednesday. They win that. What, they'll be 2 points behind or 1 point behind? Mark, still a chance, need to take advantage. Thanks to Leeds United. Darren, thanks to all the Leeds fans in the chat tonight. Absolutely. Wonderful. You're all very, very welcome. Truth, good evening to you. Truth sets you free. West Ham would do Noi. Didn't understand that, Truth. You're going to have to rewrite that, I'm afraid. Mick Jones, I knew I'd get it wrong. Mick Jones was, why did I think it was against Chelsea? Was the 71 Cup final Chelsea Leeds? But then the Mick Jones thing was the next year. There you go. Johnny, the game was in 1972 when we beat Arsenal. 1970. Sean, thank you, Sean. Chelsea Leeds replay. There you go. I knew it was a Chelsea Leeds thing. I got the year wrong. I was 8 years old when I was watching that. I can't remember what I did yesterday, let alone when I was 8 years old. Andrew, Leeds won, Arsenal 0, Centenary Cup final 1972. Jones dislocated shoulder. Why did I think it was Arsenal? But yeah, I remember that. Truth, Leeds surely to go down next season. I don't think so. And I'm not saying that just because there's loads of Leeds fans in here, but I don't think so. Once you don't slip back down straight away, you set yourself up. You know what the Premier League's all about, and that's what keeps you in the Premier League. You know, Sunderland have not slipped down, so they'll probably do pretty well next season. Leeds, now that they haven't gone straight back down, they'll become a decent, solid team in the Premier League. Everyone's saying thank you, Leeds. Jamie, thanking to Leeds. John, still, I'll take your place at the strip club. You go ahead, mate. You go ahead. Hairy sack of balls. As a Hearts fan, hope you stay up. Good luck. Thank you, mate. Really appreciate it. I love the name, Hairy sack of balls. Randy, still hope you, straight after saying hairy sack of balls, I say Randy. Hope you, big opportunity. Hopefully we do take this chance that has presented itself. We've had many a chance and we've not taken them yet. This is our time. This is our time. Robert, Fulham fan, despised you lot last season, but can't help but wish you the best now. Also, thanks for taking Adama off us. He was very poor. You're welcome. Johnny, Mick Jones was carried up for collecting his medal in 72 when we beat so it was against Arsenal. Peter, there was an amazing diving header from Peter Osgood in the fucking hell, my memory was that Peter Osgood. It wasn't Alan Clark. Alan Clark did score a diving header, didn't he? Dark Stranger, can't believe Tell didn't even get booked for the high and dangerous, but did he not? And as for Madison, yeah, of course he dived. Neil, good night to you, mate. Thank you. Thank you for joining, mate. Much appreciated. And thank you for the support that you're giving. Really, really appreciated. Billy, good luck West Ham to the end of the season. Hope you stay up rooting for you, Wrexham White Leeds fan. Third man, how will the Premier League survive without Spurs and their one league title? Exactly. MJ, got to run. Thank you for joining, mate. Stay safe and keep faith up the Hammers. Thanks, Leeds. Thank you, MJ, for joining. Andy, sorry, Randy again. Brendan, Frog, I hope you're both well. I had a nice weekend. Fraser, I'm amazed how civil the chat is between Leeds and West Ham fans. Let's see what might happen on the day of the last game. But right now, it's a love fest, isn't it? Mark, Pablo set up Fernandes for the goal. He should have scored, then is penalised for the Raya incident. Shouldn't have been on the pitch, but created the two biggest talking points. Yeah, good point. Fernandes, what a chance. He panicked. He just took that one extra touch and he panicked. What a shame. Farke is the campest German I've ever seen in football. He's done a good job. Randy, all we can is to make sure we get everything right against Newcastle. Nuno and the players must take the chance, and if we do beat Newcastle and Spurs lose to Chelsea, then we can take it to the last day. Mark, we will be cheering on Hearts against Celtic. Absolutely. Neil, Leeds fan here. It's odd, but pretty much every Leeds fan I know wants West Ham to stay up, beat Newcastle and a draw against us, and I think you'll be safe. Fingers crossed, mate. Fingers crossed. Sean, 71 Cup final was Arsenal beating Liverpool. Oh, no, 70 Cup final was Chelsea Leeds, wasn't it? Jesus, Sean, you're like an football encyclopedia. Darkstar, the problem is Chelsea plays Saturday in the Cup final and Spurs Tuesday. Not much time for recovery. Josh, good evening to you, mate. I was at the game. I can't see how you can stand there for 2 or 3 minutes before going to the monitor, then take the same amount of time reviewing it and be sure it was a mistake. If it was not clear and obvious, then you give the goal, don't you? Barry, conspiracy. Where did 13 extra minutes come from? Randy, another way of looking at it, we could be 1 point ahead of Spurs by the last day. When we play Leeds and Spurs play Everton, then it could be the saving grace, but Newcastle will be pivotal. If we can win that, and Chelsea beat Spurs, we'll be a point ahead of them. Chip, good evening, mate. If you lose your mates at the ground, it would be funny to get the tannoy operator shout out for Wiggy, the loud shirt, and Paul the cool beard to meet you at the hot dog stand. I had a better time without him. I met him afterwards. Josh, they didn't even review the other challenges in the box. The ref was on their side all game. Still got hope we can win the last 2 games. Spurs won't beat Chelsea. Kelly, I'm not sure if Chelsea will be up for the Spuds game more if winning the FA Cup or not. You'd like to think so. It might G them up and, oh, God. Yeah, you'd like to think so. Martin, I honestly hope you turn us over the last game. Please get a result against the Toons. Good luck. Thank you, Martin. Really appreciate it. Let's scroll down. Who else? Oh, got the last ones here. Frog to Darkstar. We need Moyes to do us a turn. What were the odds? Randy, Darkstar, they will think they will lose to City, although I do think Chelsea fans will want to relegate Spurs if they fail to qualify for Europe. So that is a possibility. Andrew, Chelsea hate Spurs. They absolutely do. Apache, hoping we Farke beat Newcastle. Mark, Stel, will Nuno go with the same lineup? No, I think he will go to a back 4 again. I really do. Paul, good luck, West Ham. Thank you, mate. Keep blowing them bubbles. Glad Leeds played with integrity and tried to do their best. Football's amazing when it plays out fairly. And yeah, absolutely agree. Jamie, Chelsea has a lot of players they can cycle in after the FA Cup game. Randy, Frog with March. Moyes, for us, he has beaten Spurs with us before, so it's not like he can't do it with Everton, despite Everton's record away to Spurs. So there's a chance they won't be a rollover. I'm done. Nearly an hour. I only planned this about 10 minutes before I came online. So thank you all. Thank you all to all the Leeds fans, the Sunderland fans, the Hearts fans, the Forest fans that came on. Wonderful. Thank you all. Really, really appreciate it. And look, it's all to play for. You know, we're not out of this yet. I'm smiling, and maybe I shouldn't be smiling so broadly, but 2 games left, which 2 points behind Tottenham Hotspur. It's all to play for. You never know. You just never know.